Welcome to SML Total Access, the official podcast of the Sim Madden League. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I'm Primetime 000, and with me today is Matt and the returning man, Dan. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going? Welcome back, Dan. Nice to have you. Nice to have you back. Well, 1 week of Bean was enough.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to throw you guys with that last-minute curveball, but just want everyone out there in the world to know I love my wife. Just want to say that.
Yeah, wow, whipped. Okay, moving on now. First down here on Total Access, and Matt, I think you came up with this topic idea. Madden 23, news starting to come out, and what a lot of the news is, and the feeling seems to be, is that the skill gap, which I complained about, is actually might be back next year, especially with the passing system. The question is increasing the skill gap good or bad for the SML?
Yeah, when I came up with this question earlier in the week, my answer was different than what it is now. I actually thought it was bad for the SML. I thought, gosh, we don't have a ton of parity. We kind of got the Big Five, and whether you believe it or not, the Super Bowls have shown that that's real. So I thought it was bad, but I think it's good. I think increasing the skill gap. That's why I like MLB a lot, because I feel like once you get to a certain difficulty level, the better player wins all the time. I don't feel like that in Madden. I feel like there's certain things that happen that are out of your control, whether you're the better player or the worst player, and that's kind of frustrating. And so I think it's great. I'm excited for this new passing system just because I think it's going to balance out, guys that don't roll out and throw across their body are kind of at a disadvantage versus someone who does because of how powerful it is. So if you get it to a more realistic passing system, my thought was, if we increase the skill gap, Dan and Prime and QP are all going to get exponentially better. Who's to say you guys aren't going to get worse? So I think I like it because when we go to the Super Bowl, we can say, look, these are the best players in the league. Hopefully that's what happens. I'm putting a lot of faith in EA, but I think it's good.
Yeah, well, I'll answer that for you real quick. I'll tell you right off the bat. Yeah, we won't get worse, Matt. All right. First of all, everything's got to be kind of spoken with kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like we assume EA is going to do this normal or okay. So let's just take out the history we have with EA, and let's just assume the passing is what the passing is going to be, and it is a skill-based thing. It's not another gimmick. It's not another whatever. It'll also be interesting whether or not Prime makes a decision on the league having to do the passing precision, because from what I'm hearing and understanding, you can individually turn it off. So some users, if they're allowed to, might just say, screw it. I'm not going to even bother with it, and I'm going to use the old system, or I'm going to use the passing that's more classic basic. But I think overall, anything new to the game is going to be good, whether that's skill-based or not. We've been playing pretty much the same version of Madden for, at the minimum, 3 years. You could probably push even further than that. But at the minimum, 3 years, we would play in the same game. And I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for something unique. I'm ready for a challenge of learning something and going through the grind of learning that. So, and that'll be the question, too. Who wants to put the time in? Who wants to learn it? All those things. So I think, is the skill gap good? Yes, it is. But I think there's going to be some other interesting kind of curveballs with this new feature.
Yeah. And I'm going kind of like Dan said, and probably what Matt's saying too, is assuming this works like EA says it's going to, which could be a big assumption. For my personal benefit, I like it. I like it a lot because there's certain guys, even the guys who I believe aren't great players, complain about the game and say it's random. And I usually keep my mouth shut, but I feel like the game being random and whatnot actually kind of helps them stay in some games that they shouldn't be in. So I think that it could really open the eyes to some people, which is actually bad for the league, because I think there's a certain amount of guys, and maybe even some guys that are quote-unquote elite, that will take a step back, and the bad guys could be kind of demoralized and may have to quit Madden completely or CFM because they might be exposed. So I think that could be bad for the league in terms of guys just getting blown out. That said, and I'm glad Matt or Dan hit on it, when it comes to rules and stuff, and I think I've seen somebody talk about, oh, this could be the time we increase quarter limits, or, how do we handle this skill gap thing? Do we establish it for the whole league? Just to put it out there now, no decision is going to be made off of beta. No decision is going to be made off of early access. We're going to get this game. There's a bunch of guys who hop on CFM way before I do. I'm going to play the game, and we're gonna actually play the game, and then we're going to decide how we're going to handle rules like that. So we'll see how we feel in August, and after EA patches the beta. But yeah, exciting times for sure. I like it. I complained about the skill gap, and it looks like they might be making some changes. I like it. Moving on. Oh, and one final thing. Hey, even if this blows up or and it's great or if it's bad, I respect that EA is trying to make a change for the good. So, moving on to the second down. Who is the best team in the AFC? Dan, you brought up this topic, so let's start with you first.
Yeah, I think this is a great topic because, we really haven't probably seen this level of, I don't want to say parity, but just more people at the top in the AFC. Like the NFC, again, we joke and it's been pretty consistent. It's Faz and then it's me, and Faz is the top dog right now, and hopefully I get a chance to knock him down. But then there's a kind of everyone else. Well, but if you look at the AFC, you've got I think you got 6 teams, with the emergence of RD, Bombers back. Dom's doing his thing. QP and Prime have been the most consistent this cycle. But you guys are all right there. And this big matchup coming up between the Raiders and the Colts. I think if Prime wins, he's going to cruise to the 1 seed. I don't see anyone else knocking him off on the schedule. I think if Dom wins, that gives him a 2-game cushion. And although he's not been playing as well, he's had some tight games. I think that pretty much locks him into the 1 seed. But the battle between 2, 3, 4, or who's going to be 5, 6, 7. Matt and Meats are going to have a really close battle for that 7th seed. Meats got the head-to-head, so I think that's going to give him a little bit of the favorite. But Meats got some tough games coming up. So, man, this is exciting in the AFC. I really think, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be favorites, obviously. But I could honestly see maybe about 6. Well, if Matt gets in there, maybe even 7. Meats, I don't think so. But 7 teams that potentially could win the AFC Conference Championship game, which makes it really exciting.
So who's the best team, Dan?
Who's the best team right now? I'm gonna go with Bomber. I think Bomber's the best team right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Dan answered the question, so thanks, Brian, for calling him out. But Dan made a lot of good points, though. The AFC is probably as competitive as it's been, at least, that when you look 1 through 10, there's a lot, all those teams can make it. Prior seasons by now, it's kind of been like, okay, maybe 1 through 8, but that 8 has kind of been like, okay, they would need a miracle to make it, and it's kind of solidified already outside of the AFC East and whatever they're doing. But, and it's funny because, we're in week, 12, 13. If you asked me this question last week, I'd have had a different answer. The week before, a different answer. My answer this week is it's the Colts. I think we just saw you play an extremely sloppy game against QP and beat him. The screen pass pick 6. I can't believe you threw it. And so
I want to say, let me stop you there real quick. I pushed the throwaway button. It said throwaway, but apparently on screen passes, they throw it at the running back's feet. I never knew that. But anyway.
I didn't know that either. So, but there were some other plays on both ends.
Yes,
you both kind of played sloppy that game, but you still came out on top. And again, I'll say it over and over and over. Watching these, I watch as many streams as probably anybody. You play defense better than anybody else I see on a consistent basis. You might have a couple blow-up games, but consistently. I do think, though, if I had to go who's the next best, I'm right there. I think it's Bomber. That team is loaded. He's getting Joey Bosa back. And I mean, if he just doesn't get in his own head and get frustrated and get down during his commentary, that team is loaded on every level of on offense and defense, and that's a tough win for anybody in the regular season or the playoffs.
For me, yeah, I'm going to pick myself. And I'm not just blowing smoke here. I thought last season, excuse me, I was the best team in the AFC, and then obviously I lost to Dom, and that's probably what pissed me off so much is because I felt really good. And this season, I feel I'm playing well. Obviously, I beat QP. I beat Matt a few advances ago now, and I beat No Bean twice. Who, even though he's not a top tier player, he's consistently in the playoff mix, and I think he can beat anybody when he's playing good football. So yeah, I'm going to take myself, and I've said it 2 podcasts in a row now. I might as well go 3 in a row. Plug for Sunday's game at 3 p.m. I'm going to beat the Raiders by 2 scores, and that's going to be a statement game heading into the playoffs. No doubt in my mind, Dom is going down. 3 shows in a row.
Wait. We got to clarify for the super smart guys out there like QP Stud. 2 scores. You're talking about
2
like
touchdowns,
+9,
plus
double digits,
plus 14 or above.
Okay.
2 touchdowns. Sure. Sorry, I want to be consistent.
I don't want to throw anyone off there.
Yeah, 14 plus. 14 plus.
Okay. All right, nice.
No, I'm pretty serious about that. So, yeah. Now, as for next best, I got to go QP. I know Bomber's playing better, but when I play QP every time, and I haven't played him in a while, but his user is good. His team, his offense is good. I mean, he is just good. I don't get that when this isn't a shot at Bomber or anybody else in the AFC, but when I play QP compared to when I play most of any other team in the AFC, I don't get that like, oh crap, this guy is good, and QP gives me that feeling more than anybody else. I mean, the guy won a Super Bowl with the Lions, and I think he's gotten a little complacent, but I think his losses and his trials and tribulations over the past few seasons now are going to make him dangerous come playoff time. So I think we might get that Colts Ravens AFC Championship game.
Well, I think it'll be interesting, the seeding. I think that's going to be huge, the matchup. So, like if Bomber, I think has to go through you, Prime. I think you kind of got Bomber's number right now, but Bomber has QP's number. Dom, it's got your number. Relatively short history. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I think RD's kind of the wild card there. Like you go into that game and maybe you're not as focused, and RD's going to catch you. So and again, if Matt sneaks in, we've already seen Matt smacked you around, beat Faz. Like Matt's got it in him to knock off one of the big boys as well too. So I think the AFC from wild card on is just going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a Royal Rumble. It's going to be exciting this year.
Yeah, that's the beauty of football, I think, and maybe that's what that's representing is matchups matter, and No Bean plays me close because we're in the division, we know each other, whereas QP probably kills No Bean, and so forth. Yep. So let's move on now to the third down, and maybe this is setting this up here. What's your ideal Super Bowl matchups for the final 2 seasons? Or do you have one you want to see this season? And then maybe to conclude the cycle, do you guys have one or anything like that? And Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 matchups I want to see. The first one, and I don't care if it's this season or next season on either one of these. Just give me them both. I want the 2 of you to square off in a Super Bowl. I think you guys have consistently, if you looked from, post blip, because pre blip I don't remember a whole lot, but and it was just a different time with the stacked AFC. But if you just look at body of work, I think you guys stand out as probably the best players of the cycle. So I would love to see you guys go head to head in a Super Bowl. Obviously ratings would be off the hook. Even in July or June or whenever that Super Bowl happens. And then the other one, give me somebody new. Give me some new blood. I know I kind of say, oh, Big Five, it's good. Yeah, the playoffs are fun, but it's going to be the same guys again. Give me Dom getting over the hump in the AFC. He's been so close. Maybe it needs to be this season because he's about to start a job. But give me Dom in the Super Bowl or RD. I would love to see RD get back. I know he's kind of been hounded on his rough start this post blip since he came back. I'd love to see him get back there. And then in the NFC, just on the same lines, give me somebody other than Dan and Faz. I'm looking at someone like Clink would be a good story to get there. maybe somebody like maybe NYT would be a good story. So a couple of newbies would be a fun one too.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. I'd love to see, obviously Prime and I go at it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think we'd have a lot of good excitement, both leading up to it, and then whoever the winner was, and the loser having to lick his chops. I think that'd be a lot of fun there. And don't worry, I'd be well prepared and set up for Prime. I think I'm like 5-2 this cycle against them or something crazy like that. I don't know. I kind of lose track when you win so many. But yeah, I would love the fact to have something new. And for me, like I'm looking at, and I know this is kind of pipe dream. This could never happen, but man, wouldn't it be awesome to see like two things? I would love to see a meats versus dump Super Bowl, or I'd love to see an NYT versus wood Super Bowl. Man,
Yeah.
like that would be either one of those two would just be it would be so excited to see those kind of classic matchups going against each other for the biggest stage where I don't even know if either one of those four could like actually play the game because they'd be so nervous because it was such a big moment and they could actually win their first Sombardi. And they would just be like sweating so bad and the controller slipping out of their hands. But could you just like even coming down to a last second drive with one of those guys and everything's on the line, everything's right there. Their whole sim Madden League legacy is right there in that moment. Man, that would be awesome. I'd love to see one of those things.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would like to see my guy Coach P make a Super Bowl. I know he's obviously with work and his kid and everything. He's excuse me, he's got a lot going on right now. So I would like to see him and maybe Dom, Paulie and Dom in a Super Bowl. You know, they both kind of had similar trajectories this cycle. Both have made championship games, conference championship games, but neither have made that push to the Super Bowl this cycle. So I would like to see that. And obviously, maybe just a beautiful cycle conclusion would be myself and Dan. I want that game bad. Dan, like he said, he has a better head-to-head record this cycle, but, you know, I think I've never lost to Dan in the play, or I have lost to Dan once in the playoffs, and so I have a better playoff record against him, and I would like my odds that game to finish the cycle strong against that chump. So
let's make it work, Prime. Let's make it work. Let's get in the DMs. Just threaten some eval points. Let's just make it happen. I know you've done it before. Let's do it again.
We can't do the Kobe and LeBron thing where it never happens. We've got to make it happen.
That is true. That is true. Orlando Magic, man, they ruined that one.
I know. It's bad.
And just to go over yours, meets and dump, that will never happen. But if we simmed a season, I think you could get Woods versus NYT.
Yeah, you probably would. Yep. You probably would. That'd be a cool way to end the cycle, sim a season, let the two guys play for an asterisk, somebody. Fourth down here. Dan, we'll start with you. What's your all-time favorite Madden player to play with? And not necessarily SML owner or CFM owner, but the actual virtual character to play with. Oh, Dan's muted maybe. And something could have came up there. So Matt, let's have you start actually.
Yeah, so this is an interesting question because I've been playing Madden since the very first year that it was online. So, I mean, that's a lot of players that I've played with. And on the spot, I guess I'm gonna go with a guy that I was talking about in chat earlier this week, Pat White. I don't remember if it was Mike's league or if it was in a league even before I met Mike, but I was in a league and I had the Dolphins and I don't know if Pat White was on the Dolphins in a backup role or if I traded for him or how it all worked, but I had Pat White. I ended up getting I think it's Brian Westbrook I traded for him from the Eagles, the running back, and I don't know, Pat White, man, he was fun. I mean, this is before abilities and stuff, so he was fast. He back then the QBs didn't matter like even less than they do now. So he was throwing dots at like 60 overall. But yeah. I don't know, man. Pat White, it was just, I mean, he's a little guy, but he was fast. And I don't know, I had like a little fun little team there in Miami. And I got to go Pat White. That's kind of an answer I never thought I would say on this show, or a name, Pat White.
Wow. There you go. There you have it. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry. I think I had myself on mute. I didn't even realize that. Did Matt just go?
Yeah, Matt went.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Appreciate again stepping in there for me. No, I was going off on someone in chat had brought this up about superstar like Madden players, and they were kind of bums in real life. And started making me start thinking. One of the guys we started mentioning was Taylor Mays. I love that guy. I think it was Madden like 13 or
Yeah.
14, somewhere in that range. I actually had like a 48 game win streak one time in one of my leagues because of him. I mean, he was just covering the entire field. I love having Pitts, even though he gets freaking injured every year. But just having that kind of superstar tight end that just kind of makes people all freaked out where he is, and then kind of opens up other stuff. Actually, last year with the Broncos, I had a quarterback late cycle, Chuck McDowell, which, man, I had a lot of fun with him. I mean, he was just a little guy kind of running around, throwing the ball back there. I didn't get a chance to develop him like I was hoping to, but that was it. To me, there's something I enjoy. I know Spooky loves his Niners receiver from a few years ago, and there's just something fun when you get a fun player, a guy you get to enjoy, and then you get to use them. I think that makes the CFM go a little bit better when you have that.
Yeah, for me, and I was thinking before I got into CFM, I played as Peyton Manning, and looking back at it, like probably not the most ideal Madden quarterback. Not really any speed, just kind of an accurate pocket passer. But I made it work back in the lobby days. I was like 12 years old, and I would hook up my microphone and I would talk trash through people's speakers, and they would come on, and they would think I was a girl because and I'd be like, no, I'm 12, and I'd blow these guys out, and they'd be laughing with their friends. That brings me back to simpler times, but more recently. Andrew Luck probably. I again started the SML with them and won a lot of Super Bowls. So again, that just kind of brings me back to good times, and one of my favorite Colts players, and really just a fun player to play with. So, but that'd be mine probably. Well, I guess it's time for the Matt 5. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, this might be one of the more controversial. Again, we're in the thick of the season here, so we're not straying from my top 5 teams. I'm calling people out. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. QP is not on it. He has dropped completely off, and you're going to find teams that have more losses higher than teams that have fewer. So at number 5, I've got Faz.
Wow.
And here's a good example of what I just said. The guy's 10-1. And his only loss is to me, which is a little bit embarrassing. But he hasn't. When I look at Faz, okay, he's 10-1. We know who Faz is. We know what Faz is. But he's not impressing me with who he's played, and obviously that's not something he can control. But he's only played 2 teams with a winning record. One of them is me, and he lost, and the other one is Doink, who he destroyed. But Doink has a winning record because Doink hasn't played a single soul, and the only teams with a good record or with a winning record that he's played, he's lost to, and he's also lost to Woods, who does not have a winning record. So he has 8 wins, but he hasn't beat anybody. So Faz is obviously on here because he's Faz, but I need to see a little bit more, and he'll have a chance. He's got Dan next. He's got Paulie, so he's got a chance to really. He's got Dan twice coming up, but he's got him immediately after this advance, so he's got a chance to go up a level. At number 4, I've got Dom. Dom's kind of in the same position. He's 10-1. He's got some decent wins. He's got wins over Clink. He's got wins over a win over Paulie. He's beat Meats twice, but Meats just isn't a standout win anymore in Madden 22.
Scrub.
Where it really hurts Dom is losing to Colt. Now, you hit the nail on the head, Prime. I think Faz losing to me is way worse than you losing to me because we've played so much. I know how to play you, and I'm going to steal some. And I think that probably happened with Colt over Dom, but I'm better than Colt, and Dom shouldn't be losing those games. So, yeah, that's definitely one that is a blemish on his record. At number 3, I've got RD. Again, this guy was number 1 not too long ago, but he's dropped a couple of games, but they're not embarrassing losses. He's lost to Clink, who, okay, maybe his record isn't off the charts like normal, but he's going to make the playoffs. Last season he was fighting for the 1 seed. He's a solid player with a good defense. That's going to keep you in games. And his other loss was to Bomber. Obviously, no shame there. Interdivisional game against an elite opponent. So his losses don't hurt me. He's got maybe one of the best resumes with wins over QP and Bomber. So RD is firmly at number 3. At number 2, I've got Prime. I think what I saw, and Prime probably isn't here, and Prime probably falls off if he loses to QP. So I think that matchup meant a lot. Uh, I thought Prime looked good defensively against QP, had him on the ropes. QP made a lot of mistakes that I don't see QP make, and I think that's a credit to Prime's defense. And Prime has good wins. Obviously, he just beat QP. One of his losses was to Dan, the other to me, so I don't hold those too far against him. Speaking of Dan, he is my number one spot. You know,
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
Curse.
And I know the top 5's a curse, and I said I would
on.
take Prime off of it, but I think if anyone can overcome a curse, it's Prime. But Dan's sitting at 9-1. He's going to be 10-1 after he plays Future, or if he plays Future. He's got a big marquee win over Prime to start the season. He beat the brakes off of NYT. That may have been a CPU game. He's got a win over Clink. It wasn't. Yeah, so he beat the brakes off of NYT, who, that team is tough to blow out. Dan's sitting there. His loss, again, I've said it on the show time and time again. He lost to Tiny. Yes, that's terrible. It's not as bad as a Colt loss, but he was in a dev game. If you look at Dan's track record, we might need meets. Dan struggles in dev games, so not going to hold that against him too much. If it's not a dev game, I think he blows Tiny out. That's my Mat 5.
You just put me there because you know it's a curse. You know that. You know that. You know 100%. You're like, I'm not putting Prime there. Okay, I'm not putting my little lover boy there.
Whoa.
I'm putting Dan because I want him cursed, and now I'm going to go out and Faz is just going to blow me out. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Wow.
Well, Dan, I can't put Prime there. You beat him. That would take away the credibility of my my top 5.
No, I like the list.
My schedule's not that great either. I haven't really beat anyone good either. Maybe Clink, I guess. But
what I was gonna say, how much do I need to beat Dom by to get number 1?
I mean, that's gonna be hard because
20.
Dan would beat Faz, and I think Faz is better than Dom. So I don't. If you and Dan both win your next game, I don't know if much changes. But if you go out and if you shut Dom out, we let's talk.
All right. I don't know if I could shut him out, but I'm gonna shut him down. Dom, if you're listening again, I'm coming for you. It's not gonna be pretty. Your soul is mine, my friend. Dan, do you have anything to say before we wrap this up?
No. I think Faz is an incredible opponent. I'm just lucky to take the field with him.
Yeah. Wow, that's oddly nice. All right, guys, that's SML Total Access. That was Matt. That was Dan. I'm Prime. And D-Muse, I'm going to destroy you. I promise you. SML, I promise it. 14+. That's a guarantee. See you around.